It's the Trash Player League. Let's get it. Hello and good evening. Welcome to FLCN. We are now in week 9. Week 8 is in the books. So you know what that means. It is time to get into this post-game matchup analysis and get into the pre-game matchup for week 9. And we're going to get into a little shit talking because a lot of people got stuff to say about how we are spinning narratives here on this podcast here. And we're just going to discuss narratives. And it seems like we have a new co-host with us. Rickey, welcome back. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm here to be one of those people to talk shit about those narratives being spin. I came back at the right time.
Yeah, you did. You talking about new host. You know, he back like he never left.
What's going, Shawn?
Well,
it's funny that you say that because right now you two actually have a little discussion going back and forth about these power rankings. So pretty soon here, folks, we'll be having dual power rankings and we'll see how they compare against each other. So that'll be fun as well. But I'm
just gonna throw this out here right now before we even start. You know what I'm saying? Like for my 2K players, you know what I'm saying? Rickey be throwing out them Fugazi, Mark Spears power rankings. Just throw it out there. He's definitely the Mark Spears of this power ranking game right now. I don't know if you get that reference, Rickey.
All I'm going to say is I beat you.
Wow.
That's great. Let's see where you at on your own power rankings versus me. How about that?
I can already tell you this. It's a lot higher than you think, and it is over you. I know that part.
Hey, how that? Hey, Rickey over there cooking the books like he worked for the Rams organization, dog.
Not at all. I'm not that good.
Nah, we're good.
But nah, man, like I said, it's week 9. And so with it being week 9, now that there's 18 weeks in the season, we are officially at the halfway point. So we will also be getting a look at the records and seeing where people stand so far in the record-setting books and looking at certain moves that have been made so far. But now that that's out the way, it's time for us to get into these matchups and do the thing that we do best. And that means it's time for the 3 and out. And so, again, halfway point. So I'm going to explain this again for those that aren't used to it. The 3 and out works like this. Each co-host takes 2 teams and we'll all discuss 3 major points of victory or for the outcome, rather, of that matchup. And if needed, we will also be taking an extra point, and that will be the 4th down. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's do this 3 and out thing, fellas.
All right.
Let's look at how the results of this week so far. So in week 8, you have I Choose Violence lose to Raw Dog Supreme. Your player got hurt, loses to FTW. Lancelot defeats I Love Cam Newton. Labarticus Prime defeats Indie Animals. Big Trust defeats We Are Not from 750. And Corey Championship Team takes the L to Reese's Buttercups. All right. So I guess I'll start and kick this thing off this week, and I'll start here with Labarticus Prime versus Indie Animals. Labarticus Prime defeats Indie Animals to the tune of 126.22 to 122.30. We have this matchup is only a difference of 4 points, and when it comes to those narrative spinning things, this is one of the narratives that gets spun out here, is that this motherfucker right here, LaMarcus Prime, who is in first place, is the most magical, luckiest person in this league. Like, so my point number one is going to start right here, is that you only score 126 and you only win by 4 points. And you have two top tier running backs in Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb, neither of whom get over 10 points this week. Derrick Henry is lost in the first quarter of this game. Second. So was it the second quarter? So he was lost at the beginning of the second quarter of this game, in which pushes LaMarcus Prime over the top to victory. Like this dude rushed 28 times on a broken foot to 68 yards. Like come on, bro. Like, tell me, and you going to tell me you not lucky? Come on, man. At the end of the day, I have a thing that I like to say. I'd rather be lucky than good. And you damn sure got the luck part. And it just so happens, if you can be lucky and good, then you were locked in to do great things. I just don't know about the good part yet. And we'll get further into this when we look at the power rankings and see how much you've scored in the 0.4 category. But in point two here, you have goes straight to Indianimals. And what the fuck were you thinking? Starting Chicago Bears defense, who gives you -2 points. This right here is the cost of this win. Chicago Bear defense. Another lucky thing for LaMarcus Prime is that Indianimals is such a homer that he decided to start a team that has already given negative points 2 other times this season. Let's look at it here. In week 1, Chicago Bears gives -1. In week 7, just before they play this game, they give -2. In the week before that, on October 17th, they gave 3 points. So why would this seem like a competent defense to start? I don't understand it. Can one of y'all make it make sense?
I'll go ahead and speak up and just say that we're playing the Niners. We haven't been the greatest team offensively in recent memory. And maybe he thought that they were going to be able to capitalize. But I will say one thing is, our identity still happens to be somewhat of a running team. Now, it should be even more embarrassing because not only did his team lose, but then his defense gave up 33 points to the Niners, and they had Jimmy G out there looking like he was Aaron Rodgers. That's all I'm going to say about that. I mean, it's a whammy right there. It's a triple whammy.
Yeah. And on the flip side of the Chicago Bears defense is where I'm going to get my 0.3. Eli Mitchell comes back to San Francisco, and he shows out to the tune of 137 rushing yards with one rushing touchdown, which gives Mitchell 19.70 points. And so Eli Mitchell, who has missed time in the past, it looks like he is starting to come back into form and at a good time for LaMarcus Prime. So, fellas, do you have any further points on this matchup?
I just want to point out how hilarious this is that Indianimals' little logo is exactly 4, and that's how much he lost by. That is like the funniest shit ever. 122 plus his logo would have gave him the win.
Look at that.
4-4. He like Wendy's.
Hey, man, hit him with the fofo. Hey, look, sad. Man. Look, I don't know, man. I will say this. Just my comments on Mr. LaMarcus Prime there. Luck, whatever you call it, LaMarcus Prime, maybe it's a fitting name. You know, every time you think that he's dead, somehow they find an all-spark, and then all of a sudden this man gets the dub. That's all I'm saying. This is me. He definitely picked the right name for this ridiculous team.
Yeah, man. It's working out for him one way or the other, but let's look at the bench and see if anything could have changed their fate. And Yeah, on the bench he has Tyler Boyd here with 19 points. He could have started Tyler Boyd. Actually, yeah, Tyler Boyd would have been, if he had started on with Stephon Diggs, that would have gave him the victory. But who's starting anybody over Steph? Who's starting Tyler Boyd over Stephon Diggs? Not me. So
this was the problem that I ran into with holding Stephon Diggs on my team, Mark. He's good for 15. On a good day, he gets you 18, and on a bad day, he'll get you 14. It just doesn't really fluctuate much more than that. So there's no reason to not start him. And there's always going to be those couple of games where somebody on the bench outscores him.
Yeah. Those type of headaches is the type of headaches that you don't want to have to deal with, because if you don't start him, you're an idiot because, well, it's Stephon Diggs. And if you do start him, you were risking someone on the bench outscoring him. And on the flip side of that, Tyler Lockett gives 26 points to Labarticus Prime, and New England defense gives 13 points to Labarticus Prime. This scene, I'm vaguely recalling this, but this may be a recurring theme for Labarticus Prime here with leaving points on the bench, and that very well may be reflective in his points for score. So it is what it is, which is another factor in you are lucky, because who else gets to leave this many points on the bench and still win the game? Not many people.
Yeah, there was no way in hell I would have played Gainwell over Tyler Lockett. I know Tyler Lockett's been having a rough little patch with Geno Smith, but it's Tyler Lockett. I'm going to pick the name over Gainwell every time. So
exactly,
you're right. He's crazy for that one.
Well, see, for some reason, he thought that Philly was going to be running the ball even with a 40-point lead. I saw the funniest thing, Mark. I'm in the Yahoo. If you go to the Yahoo player cards, there's a comment section. I went to the comment section for Jordan Howard, and somebody was like, yeah, he should see a heavy workload of touches now that what's his name is out. And somebody said heavy workload. So what are you talking about? Like 5 carries? I'm just saying, like, everybody knows what the deal is with Philly. I don't know why he would have started Gainwell and expected something.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it is what it is. Labarticus Prime does get the victory. Congratulations to him. And next up is, which one of you fellas want to take it next?
You want to go? I want to jump right into it. I want to get straight to Reese's Buttercups team versus Corey's championship team.
All right, here we go.
Okay, here we go. We got Corey's championship team with 96.06 to Reese's Buttercup team 121 flat there. Corey's championship team showed up and shit the bed, apparently. I don't even know if I could call it shit in the bed. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. First thing that jumps out. Patrick Mahomes, 15 points. Reese's Buttercup team, she hasn't been getting the performances from Patrick Mahomes that she's used to, and somehow still manages to pull out a dub. Okay, we're talking about being lucky. It's better to be lucky than to be good at this point. So even though she gets 15 from Patrick Mahomes versus the New York Giants, which should have never happened, in what was presumed to be a possible shootout with Minnesota and Dallas, turns into a low-scoring game, and Kirk Cousins gets 14 points. None of us like Kirk Cousins, but we know that he's good for more than 14. But that's what he got on a week where Patrick Mahomes underperforms. So that's lucky point number one for Reese's Buttercup. Then, if you look down here, man, I don't know what's going on. Every single one of his starters, his skill position starters, outside of the tight end and the flex, give less than 10 points. You get nothing from Justin Jefferson versus the Cowboys. I don't know how that happens. Maybe it's because Kirk Cousins is your quarterback. DJ Moore, I feel you. Rickey said he would not touch anything Sam Darnold related. And I mean, even for DJ Moore, he seemed to be quarterback proof until these last 3 or 4 weeks. Myles Gaskin, enough said. Don't need to say anything about that. He's playing a guy with a crack shit and Antonio Gibson, but this is what he has, Mark. We mentioned his poor draft. This is where it gets you right here. So I can't even say that Reese's Buttercup is lucky in this situation. But for point two, a horrible draft is what lands you in this situation. Because the fact that Myles Gaskin is in his starting lineup is a problem. He should not be in anybody's starting lineup.
Well, here's the issue. Myles Gaskin, was that the end of your points?
That was point two. The whole section was point two.
Okay.
And I'm going to get through it real quick. Point three, my point three will be that Adam Thielen always timely shows up with 20 points for Reese's Buttercup whenever she needs it. And she gets it this week, So completely cancels out what J.D. McKissick does at the flex. It's just one of those weeks. She played a team. They got 96 points. She is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she's currently getting outscored by her opponents by almost 100 points. But somehow she's 4-3-1. I don't know how this works. I don't know how this works. But, that's my final point, Mark. She's lucky. And then this week, she plays somebody who puts up, is that the lowest point total of the week, Mark?
No, it's not.
Okay, probably the second lowest. That's 96 points, though. I think this is like the third time she's played somebody that scored under 100, though. It's getting sickening, man. I'm getting tired of this shit. Congratulations, Reese. You won.
Yeah. She won in a game in which she doesn't even meet her projections. And and to the Myles Gaskins thing, Malcolm Brown is currently out. This may be, and he's on IR. This may have just been a bad week to start him because it is Buffalo. But Buffalo also got gashed in the running game recently by another team. But it's mostly just the fact that it's Miami. And it's unfortunate, but Myles Gaskins is better than what is being shown, than what he's allowed to do. But anyway.
I'm not even going to call it luck. I'm going to call it what it is. She got to play a sucker who just traded Jamar Chase for all these sorry ass players. DJ Moore's not doing nothing again. Gaskin's not doing anything. Antonio Gibson's not doing anything. You think they're just going to magically do something for you now?
Listen,
he started all four of them.
Well, listen, here's the thing, though, because you look at it and you see, you see Jamar Chase, right? Oh, now you say he started all four. Jamar Chase is one player. Jamar Chase gave 13 points. J.D. McKissick by itself got 17. And Antonio Gibson, up until the last 2 weeks, has actually, up until the 2 weeks before, has been really viable with the shin issues. So
why'd you trade him?
Because I have too many running backs. I had too many running backs.
You traded him because he has a shin problem. Like, come on, nobody wants a running back with a shin problem.
To be honest with you, because I have inside information. I talked to this man off the books, and he got tired of trying to figure out who was going to go off every week, J.D. McKissick or Antonio Gibson. It's not that he never lost faith in Antonio Gibson with or without the shin injury.
No,
he just got tired of trying to figure out who was going to get fed the touchdowns.
Bro, that's not a good trade. Let's go look at J.D. McKissick's numbers real quick.
Well, Mark, to your point, what I will say is go ahead, bring up the J.D. McKissick shit. But to your point, Mark, I bet you when you look at the bench, it'll show itself right there.
Exactly. Like, so he had 17, he had 19 the week before, 16 there. Like and 20 in week 2. Like he has
every other week on schedule.
Every other week, it's in there. Like he shows up every other week. Like it's there. And the week before this trade, when Malcolm Brown actually went down and out, 17 points from Myles Gaskins. When Malcolm Brown went down and out, 17 points from Myles Gaskins. So
isn't Ahmed still there?
Ahmed is still there, but Ahmed is supposedly the second running back. Like, I don't know.
this is my thing. For the Gaskin trade, it was silly. They have a 3-headed running back committee over there already. You have Devontae Parker, who's been out for 2-3 weeks. He finally came back. That just took up all your target shares for the pass game. So what are you doing there? You got him back. You got Waddle. We already know Waddle's a target monster. Devontae Parker came back. He's another target monster. So you just lost all your receptions right there. You're not going to be running on Buffalo. Let's cut it out.
Yeah, no, you're not going to run on Buffalo.
What were you thinking with that? Not you, but what was he thinking with that for this particular thing?
No, with the start, I can't speak to the start, but this is why he had to make the trade, because if you look at his bench, he can't start nobody else. Well, Miles Sanders, IR. Kareem Hunt, IR. Christian McCaffrey, IR. His entire, he had
AJ Dillon. That's all he got.
Yeah, he had running backs before, and 3 of them are now on IR.
Hey. I'm sorry. If you told me to pick Gaskins or AJ Dillon for my life, I'd pick AJ Dillon every time.
Hey.
But you say that, but Myles Gaskins had more points.
No. I want you to look at AJ Dillon's history, though. Look at his history, bro.
Okay. Look, 3, 10.
I guess it ain't too. He had one. It ain't too much different.
And then he gave a negative point game.
That ain't good either.
I'm trusting Aaron Rodgers with AJ Dillon over Tua and Gaskin every time. I'm sorry,
but I will say this: What do you think he should have done with 3 running backs on IR? And then AJ Dillon sitting there.
Because that AJ Dillon was his only healthy running back.
Do you think he would have been able to pick up 3 running backs off of the waiver wire that were better than Antonio Gibson, JD McKissick, and Myles Gaskin?
I think so, because I think the week before last I had Alex Collins, I had Darrell Williams, I had Khalil Herbert.
How was he supposed to get all them guys before you got them?
You played the waiver wire, right? He
No,
doesn't.
we're talking about
him.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So basically, what you're saying is he should have transported himself to 2 weeks ago, and he should have made better moves. But guess what? He couldn't do. He don't got a time machine, man. So guess what he had to do? He had to suck it up, and he had to take Myles Gaskin, Shinboy, and JD McKissick. That's what he had to do.
And listen, and then not only did he get
he threw in a bonus by giving him DJ Moore.
Yeah, because. Now you say what you can say what you want to say about DJ Moore's point totals, but his target share is there. His target share is there in spades. It's just not working out in what's being caught, and that's mostly because of the quarterback. But look at his target share: 8, 11, 12, 12, 13, 10, 8. His only one which would have been considered subpar is Philadelphia with 7, and that's because you can just run all over Philadelphia if you really want to.
Hey man, I'm just saying, he could have got Mark Ingram during the week. He could have went after Ty Johnson. There was options out there.
Mark Ingram is not scoring what these guys are scoring or what these guys are capable of scoring.
Mark Ingram just picked up 7 points back in the Saints. I trust Mark Ingram with the Saints over.
That's probably his highest point total of the year, or second highest point total of the year.
It's going to be his second. His first week, he showed up.
Yeah, that's probably
Ty Johnson with Michael Carter. Ty Johnson.
You throwing up a bunch of weak ass fucking arguments, dog. That's all I'm gonna say.
You have to look at the reality of what happened to Miami. Miami got all their players back. The opportunity for him.
Oh no, I'm not saying that Myles Gaskin was a good part. But what is he gonna say? I'll take the other 3 guys. Just leave Myles Gaskin out. Of course you're gonna take him.
Yeah, I was like, look here, man.
I mean, just to throw it out here, he dropped Denver defense, Jonnu Smith, in a kicker. Okay, Brandon McManus. That's what he dropped to get these guys. It's a complete improvement, Ricky. It's a complete improvement. It's not the improvement that anybody wants, but it was an improvement nonetheless, dog. I'm nobody's saying I like it. I didn't like it. I would have died on my sword of Jamar Chase like you would have, but that's just me.
Sorry, man. This is like I said, this is the result of someone that's just a poor manager. You drafted bad. You played the waivers wire. I can't really go out and say that Reese won this on luck. She won this because dude's not doing his job. He is the Washington football team GM in fantasy. It is bad. It is bad.
Yo.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. So here on just very quickly looking at the bench here, nothing very much would have changed anybody's fate here, except for the fact that Cole Beasley is on the bench with 21 points. But am I starting Cole Beasley over Terry McLaurin? Never, ever, ever is that happening. So it is what it is. That's just a point total that you have to eat. All right. But next up is Rickey. Who are you rolling with? Which one are we?
Let's go down to my boy Big Trust versus We Are Not Gonna Ever Win. Let's go for that one.
That man get a new nickname every week. Let's go.
So we have this lovely ass whooping, old-fashioned ass whooping. We got Big Trust with 157.30 to We Not from 750 with 98.66. And right off the back, that's a 60-point deficit. And this is just a case of bittersweet irony. As you can see in the logo, one of them's a Buccaneers fan, but the one whipping the ass has all the Buccaneers players. You got Tom Brady, you got Mike Evans, and you got Chris Godwin. Like, who does Rodney cheer for in this? Do you cheer for Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin to perform horrible, and then your team loses in real life so you can win a fantasy game that you're probably going to be nothing for you for the rest of the season? Or do you just sit there and cry on the inside? And it looks like he cried on the inside because there is not a damn thing this kid can do. He took the risk of playing Gronkowski, and there's a big giant zero right there. I know they said he was healthy for the game, but once he got hit, he sat his ass right back down. His age is showing it. It's real bad. You need to drop that kid and just like put yourself in there. You might get one extra point just for showing up. Like it's really bad. I will say going into this one, I was shocked that Mike Evans was even going to touch the ball and score a touchdown. I think everybody was worried about that for Tobias, that would come and haunt him and he'd end up with the zero, but that didn't end up happening. So I'm shocked.
Well, I mean, two catches is still kind of two catches is what we expected. We just didn't expect the touchdown.
I mean, I would have expected 2 catches from Grunt, but shit, here we are. It didn't happen. I'm actually real surprised that Tobias actually listened and stopped playing that one Philly guy, what's his name, Smith or whatever, and he actually put T. Higgins in. The last couple of weeks, that kid has like destroyed Tobias. Every time he plays him, he gives him 3-4 points. T. Higgins actually showed up this week, got him 13. That was a huge winning point. And to be honest, I don't think there's anything that Rodney could have done that really would have helped this. He could have probably played Devontae Parker, and that might have gave him 18. I think he's on his bench, but why would he play him over Allen Robinson, who absolutely does nothing? Who knows? Like, I would drop that guy too. I don't know, man. Rodney just has a real shitty team. Like, there's nothing I can really say to help him out with winning this. If you open up the bench players, as you can see, there's nothing there. You have Devontae Parker, and again, 16 wouldn't have cut it. And the only person you can replace him with is Allen Robinson. And to be honest,
I would I would have absolutely did that though. Look at this. I would have done that 1,000 times.
No, I 100% agree with you, bro.
Allen Robinson is in hell right now.
What does it change, Mark? Go back up to the top. Like, what does it change? Look at the score. There was nothing he could have done.
No, I'm just commenting on We Not from 750, his choices. I'm just commenting on his choices.
His choices didn't kill him this week, but if he continues to make bad choices like this, it's going to kill him eventually.
I just find it laughable that Leonard Fournette decides to come back to earth this week, but he showed the fuck up when he played me. So,
I mean, it is the Saints. It is that Saints defense. I don't expect our run game to get off too much against the Saints.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. But overall, man, I mean, there's not much Rodney can do. He's already 1-5-1. I can't even say make a trade. There's no one that he can go out there to get to make a difference.
Well, shoot. The question is, who the fuck is he going to give up?
I mean, he has some good. Start back up. Rodney has some good players. He has Mixon. He has Fournette. A lot of us could use a running back right now. Robert Woods has been picking up. Aaron Rodgers. Who can't use a quarterback right now, especially a backup one? Like right now, you can argue that you'd rather have Aaron Rodgers than Pat Mahomes. Who would be saying that today?
Yeah, that's great, but that's the thing. Any of these guys he has to give up is the only thing keeping his head barely above water. It's the only reason. That's the only reason. Like Joe Mixon is one of the only reasons why this man has one win and one tie. You know what I mean? Like Zeke. I mean, Mark. I was going to let you say it, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. A lot of his heartache could have been saved if he had Derrick Henry on his team.
Up until this point.
I mean, can you imagine a 40-point performance from Derrick Henry during a week where Joe Mixon gets you 25? I mean, it wouldn't have helped him this week, but there's a bunch more games this year that would have helped him. But I did want to beat it, you know.
That reminds me, I did want to do an exercise, and maybe we'll do it for the fall. For the next week, or I'll put it out in midweek. But I do want to look at what if I took Zeke off of his team and put Derrick Henry in, how many more wins would he have this season? I do want to look at that and see.
I think the problem with that for Rodney is even if he did that, minus the last 2 weeks, I want to say, Allen Robinson and Robert Woods would have still screwed him over completely.
Oh, no, I think he would have had 3 wins instead of 1. And I think that's it.
And do not forget that he lost to Shawn solely because he was on CPT time and did not change his lineup.
Vontae Parker was in there with 0. Yep.
Hey, that kid's like the opposite of Reese then. He just has the worst fucking luck. Like, what can you say? So good luck with that. But other than that, kudos to fucking what's his name? Big Trust. He showed up. Like everything on his squad went off. The only thing that was like negative for the most part was Tunyon, but he got hurt. And even still, 7 from a tight end really isn't that bad.
No, not these days. Nope.
Not this year. This year, 7 from a tight end is right what you expect. So it is what it is. And to speak to Devonta Smith, it is time to just let him go if you don't need him, because in a game where the team scores 44 points, he has 15 receiving yards and 1 reception. It's just not working out between him and his quarterback, which is weird because they played together in college. But it is what it is. As you can see here, there's nothing in the bench that would have changed his fate. So we are just going to move right along. And I am back up, and I am up with Your Player Got Hurt versus FDW. And Your Player Got Hurt scores 91.56 to FTW's 150 flat. FTW is now in second place with a record of 5-3. And in this matchup, point 1 I want to bring up goes to Your Player Got Hurt. Emmanuel Sanders shows up with a goose egg. I don't know how this fucking happened, but this would have made me throw my controller at the fucking TV. Because looking at it here, Emmanuel Sanders over the last 4 fucking games, 26, 13, 20, 14. And then he has a bye, and he decided to come back from that bye week still drunk off his ass because he gives 0 points to Your Player Got Hurt here.
It looks like he never came back from the bye week, Mark. I think he's still on bye right now.
Clearly, apparently, he just didn't tell the team. He had 4 targets and nothing. So,
well, it wouldn't be the first time a Buffalo player retired mid-game. I don't know. That's what I'm just saying. That's I've heard that's happened before there.
Wow. So, yeah. So here, looking at that there, that was my point number 1. Point number 2 here goes to Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman goes absolutely Captain Insano and jumps out the box with a 30-point performance. Let's look at it here. This is his first such performance this season. He has given a 20-point performance three times before in this season, but his 30-point performance is something different. He had 15 targets on the day, 10 receptions, 86 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Both of his 2 touchdowns came in the first quarter. So you kind of knew what time it was as soon as the game started that Michael Pittman was just going to have a fucking day. So that is point 2 that I have here. In point 3 just goes out to the fact that Brandon Cooks decided to show back up. It's just his receivers in general, honestly, because you have Brandon Cooks that decided to show back up. And AJ Brown seems to be rounding into form now. This is his second week in a row scoring over 20 points. So usually if they could do it back to back, it usually means that they're starting to figure something out. So that is a dangerous thing to see from FTW. And now, you guys have anything to say before we get into this bench?
Yeah, Brandon Cooks seemingly is not only quarterback proof, but also defense proof. I get sick of this guy, man. I'm only sick of him if he's not on my team. You know, this was definitely the year where I was like, you know what, his luck's going to run out. His run is going to end. And this man shows up, drafted probably in like the 11th round, and he's just constantly scoring 20. That's just got to hurt. That's got to hurt when it's got to hurt when the auto draft team is the highest scoring team in the league.
Yes, this was an auto drafted team, and outside of Michael Pittman, that actually he may have drafted Michael Pittman as well, but
no, he did. No, he didn't.
No, Cedric drafted Pittman and he picked him up. He picked up Pittman. He picked up McPherson. Arizona, he traded to Mark. He's made some moves.
Yeah, outside of Michael Pittman, this is pretty much the team that he came into the league with, which is, I think he's one of the few teams that's able to still say that. And the trade that he made with me here, as you can see on the bench, if there was anything that could have changed the fate, yes, your player got hurt, would have gotten more points from Amari Cooper, but who was really expecting that to happen from a backup quarterback? Certainly not myself. And yes, Pat Freiermuth gave more points than Hunter Henry. Neither of these would have resulted in a W, but it would have resulted in more points. But he got more points than Hunter Henry. And again, when you look at it here, Hunter Henry was just the better performer so far this season versus Pat. So it's understandable going with him. It's still understandable going with him.
Yeah, Hunter's been pretty money, yeah.
But yeah, on the other side, Devontae Booker has 17 points on the bench, which he traded for. And looking at it here, I don't fault him for starting who he started over Devontae Booker. But except for the fact that Devontae Booker is going up against KC. Actually, I do fault you. I changed my mind. I just realized who he was going up against. You have to start whoever you got against KC. KC's defense is trash.
I will say this. This is just an odd situation, though, because Swift is leading the league in receiving receptions for running backs. And in the game where they seemingly get blown out, he only has 5 receptions. And then for 27 yards, right? For 24 yards, excuse me. And then if you look down here, Booker, I implore you to look at what his actual game stats are. So you got 15 for 60, 14 for 51, 16. He has a game with 16 for 42. He doesn't typically do good with his yard. I
don't care about his yards. I care about what those fantasy numbers do.
Hey, look, man.
And those fantasy numbers.
He has been doing okay, but But damn, dude, look at Swift's history, man. Look at Swift's history, man. I guess maybe you started that week, but I mean, 28 the week before, 17, 22. He has a 23, another 24-point game.
And they're against good
I don't know
teams.
about you.
Yeah, and Rams, Cincinnati, Minnesota. Like, yeah.
I don't. Swift is a every game starter in my book, and that's why I wouldn't have made that move. But
okay, understandable.
But
all I'll say in my defense for my team is it was a crazy morning as far as the NFL went. Calvin Ridley just magically decided he's not going to play. Then we find out later on it's due to a mental illness. Hopefully he gets okay from that. The whole Dak Prescott news, whether he was going to play or not, that threw me for a loop. And then Jared Judy's just coming back. So I'm like, all right, looking at this, I don't have a choice at this point. Let me throw these people in here, and whatever happens, happens. So,
and he was playing Washington.
Yeah, and with even with the extra points on the bench, look at the situation. Like no one would have guessed that Cooper Rush would have got Amari Cooper 26 points minus maybe what Lombardimus Prime, since he's a homer, he would have been like, I knew it, and we all know he didn't know it. But that's beside the point. Freiermuth, I thought about playing over Emmanuel Sanders only because the Miami game that he played, like you pointed out earlier, wasn't a very good one. So I thought about it, but I was like, they really suck against wide receivers, and he's been consistent. No excuses. It just didn't go in my favor. But I don't think there was much I could do. Like,
there's
I
nothing.
Just got my ass whooped.
There's nothing you could have done here except it's just these were just the way that things played out.
Then look at the matches he has. Everything's in his favor. You have your quarterback going against Houston. Come on now. In the blowout, I don't know if you guys watched that game. Brandon Cooks got all of those all those points in garbage time. They were done beating the hell out of him.
He eats in garbage time.
And that's where he ate. A.J. Brown, come on, man. You got him going against Indiana's like secondary. They haven't been that great this year, for being honest.
Their secondary hasn't been. No.
Swift, I thought he would have did a lot better because, like it's been pointed out, he's been getting a whole bunch of like just points just from off of receptions, and he somehow gets a touchdown. Kamara versus Tampa Bay, I expected that. Herbert just got 18 points versus Tampa Bay's run, and they'll line Kamara up to throw him some passes. So I kind of saw that coming. Travis Kelce, I didn't expect that shit. I thought he was going to be the one to get like 40, 50 points, if I'm being 100% honest. And that threw me for a loop. And then you got Pittman again going against Tennessee's secondary, and God knows they don't even have a secondary. You just get 3 points if you
can't even name players from the secondary.
Overall, tight ends have come back down to earth, and it shows. This season shows exactly why you do not take tight ends early in the game, because we do have a matchup coming up soon where he took Darren Waller fairly early, and now his team is in balance once he had got a few injuries, or once he had got 1 to 2 injuries. But yeah, like this in general is not what you expect from Travis Kelce, at least this 6-point game to 13-4. You don't expect those type of games, and they seem like they're popping up more often. But overall, Travis Kelce has been doing well.
I think he's still the best. I think he's still the highest scoring tight end in fantasy right now.
Yeah.
Not by much, but he is.
All right. So next up, Rickey, I guess, or is it Shawn? No, Shawn, it's on you.
Yeah, I'm doing your game there, Mark. Go ahead, click on that thing. All right, here we go. We got I Choose Violence versus Raw Dog Supreme. 92.36 from I Choose Violence versus 110.14 from Raw Dog Supreme. You know, and take a look at this, man. And man, what can I say, Mark? First things first, Kyler Murray. I'm not even gonna lie. When I saw Kyler Murray give you 8 points, I was like, he probably gonna win, because he always seems to win when Kyler doesn't show up. But 8 points was even low for a low performance from Kyler. So this was definitely concerning. I'm over here joking, but seriously, it was concerning that you got 8 points in. Man, isn't that some bittersweet harmony right there, symphony right there? You got Carson Wentz, his favorite quarterback, lighting him up for 23 points. as opposed to the 8 from Kyler Murray. So that's my first point, Mark. I know you love that. I know you love every bit of Carson Wentz giving you 23 in a week where Kyler gives you 8.
Well, here's the thing. Part of that, I have to just bring this up. One of those touchdowns that Carson Wentz got was bullshit because of that pass interference call, in which the wide receiver stopped and the cornerback couldn't stop. Like, the quarterback was trying to stop and slow down and couldn't because the wide receiver just stopped right in front of him. Like,
well, I believe they call that a veteran move. I think that was a veteran move.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't a veteran move because the only reason why the wide receiver stopped so short is because Carson Wentz underthrew the ball so terribly.
Mm-hmm. And then, okay, but I will say that was the first point. You get your bell rung by Carson Wentz, and I know you like that. So let's go ahead and look at point number 2, because I promise you this shit was like the perfect storm. So Michael Carter, is that his name? Marcus, Michael, Melvin. Nobody really knows his real name, but he's a running back for the New York Jets that just so happened to have a career day and drop 32 points on Mark. You know what I'm saying? 95 receiving yards, Mark. I ain't even seen this man get 30 receiving yards. You know what? I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie here, Mark. Is there any way you can bring up his receiving yards for the year? I want to see the games. I want to see his totals for receptions and receiving yards on the year. I don't know if you can bring that up. I want to make sure I'm remembering this correctly.
Receiving. That's for the year.
26 receptions, 226. He got 90 plus in this game alone, Mark. So, I mean, we don't need to look at anything else. This man got 95 receiving yards. I think he had a big play. He had like a 75-yard reception or something. I don't know. But 9 receptions, Mark. 9 receptions. He had 26 on the year. He got 9 of them today, like in this week. I don't know. Michael Carter showed up and dropped 32 on you. At that point, Mark, you had to know that this just wasn't in the cards for you this week. So that's my point 2. I don't even need to look at what you did on the other side of that. If you going against Michael Carter and he gives you 32, you just gotta know that this just wasn't the week for you, Mark.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll let you go ahead and X that box out. I know you're tired of looking at it. Go ahead. All right. and then point number 3, Mark. Point number 3. And how can I say this, Mark? Point number 3. Robinson, didn't he get hurt?
Yes, he did.
I felt like, okay, so Robinson gets hurt
in the first quarter,
and you only get 4.9 from him. So it's almost like everything that could go wrong with your team went wrong.
This is exactly why I say I would much rather be lucky than fucking good, because clearly I can't be lucky.
He got shit performances from a lot of people, but exactly. Michael Carter saved the day. Michael Carter of all people, Mark. So this is what I need you to do. I need you to look at the bench for my 4th point, because we're going to go straight to the bench for my 4th point.
Oh, so
and this is where it really gets ugly, Mark.
4th down. All right.
This is where the 4th down. Yes. You know why? Because Knox is out. Antonio Brown is out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then you look down. You had the COVID situation with Adams. You pick up Lazard because you know that Adams has COVID, and then the second you pick up Lazard, it comes out. Oh yeah, by the way, he has COVID. So now you're just dropping players and adding players for no reason. You know what I mean? So you had 2 wide receivers literally just drop off, and then you get James Robinson hurt. Antonio Brown doesn't make it back for the game, and neither does Knox. And you're just sitting here with a lineup. You end up having to pick up Randall Cobb, Mark. And to be honest, he gave you 16. You got
3 receptions for 15 yards. What the fuck is that?
You can't ask, picking up Randall Cobb last minute, you can't ask for more than 16 points.
Yes, if you get 2 touchdowns, how the hell do you get 2 touchdowns?
Forget about the fact that he only has 3 receptions for 15 yards, Mark. You picked up Randall Cobb after picking up Lazard after losing Devontae Adams. You got 16.5 off of that. You gotta live with that. Cordero Patterson giving you 18. You're okay with that. Jamar Chase, maybe you expected more, but 13, you got that. Really, this comes down to Kyler Murray and the Green Bay Packers not releasing information the way that they should have. It does even about it. It's like everything that you could. There was absolutely nothing you could have done. You could look at your bench. There's nothing there. Nothing you could have really done. Let's scroll down, Mark. Let's just take a peek.
Hunter Renfrow on by.
For this to happen. Yep, that's it. You got Carlos Hyde who got 13, but who would have known that?
Well, he wouldn't have had that if James Robinson wouldn't have got hurt.
That's what I'm saying. Who would have known James Robinson went down? It's absolutely nothing you could have done. There's literally 0 points on the bench outside of Carlos Hyde. Michael Carter beat you, Mark. I would like to hear your thoughts on this
well, very quickly, I'm just going to go through. I am pissed. I am mostly pissed about the Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard situation because, like you said, Devontae Adams goes down. I have a fairly decent waiver wire pick, so I go Allen Lazard, and I use my waiver wire. Like now, my waiver wire pick is like 11 or 10 or some shit, only for them. Like when Devontae Adams had COVID, they knew Lazard had fucking COVID. Like they tested the whole fucking team. So why doesn't it come out till Wednesday that Lazard has COVID? Like after the waiver wire goes through, then you see it pop up. Oh, by the way, Lazard got COVID as well. So like now I have 2 people in the IR slot that wasn't there before, and I had to go pick up Randall fucking Cobb. Like, come on, bro. Like that was not anything I wanted to start. Like, in the fact that I lost Knox, lost Antonio Brown, like this week, like it was a rough week, man. And then the people that's supposed to be able to carry me through, Kyler Murray gives me 8 fucking points. Like, how is this possible? How is it possible that the dude that gave me 40 in week 1 and week 2 gives me 8?
You want to know something cool, Mark? All he had to do was give you 26 versus the Green Bay Packers. Mark, look, all you need to know is that Kyler Murray gave you 8 points versus the Green Bay Packers defense.
Yeah.
Look, man, I just want to point out that you gave up all your depth for Jamar Chase, and if you would have had McKessick, that 17 points would have came in handy. So, like my football,
but here,
your player got hurt.
But here we go. See, because Ricky, you say that I would have went into this week. I would have went into this week with my best player being DJ Moore, and there's not a world where I'm not starting JD McKissick over Cordero Patterson or James Robinson.
You would have over Shenault, wouldn't you?
But then it's a toss-up of whether I'm starting Gibson or JD McKissick.
He don't know which one is gonna go off that week.
Bruh, I know I'm not picking Shenault. That's for damn sure. I picked him up twice off the waivers to stop other people from having him as an option, but I'm never starting that, man. Like,
so this shit is crazy.
You got Rashad Penny, bro. You got Rashad Penny on your bench.
Like but here's the thing. The Rashad Penny thing was he just came back from IR, and I wanted to see what he was going to do. He's not a permanent ad. In fact, I already dropped him. Like
it was a handcuff situation.
Yeah, it was just like let me see what's going to happen here. And then, like, as far as the Marlon Mack thing, that was also in lieu of the possibility of him getting traded. And he did not get traded, so therefore I dropped him as well. This was like I was never truly dependent on either one of them to give me.
I'm just curious. Why do you still have Lazard? I would have dropped him as soon as they said they had COVID. Like, why is he even on your bench?
Because
I had IR spots.
They're both on IR spots.
You're holding him on IR?
Yeah.
He didn't have anybody else in IR.
Yeah, in the last 2 weeks, he's been showing up with Devontae Adams healthy. Like, so it's like, why not?
So you're going to start playing him and Devontae Adams?
No.
Then why are you?
Because if something happens to Devontae Adams, then who's going to get the ball? It ain't Randall fucking Cobb.
Aaron Jones.
He said Aaron Jones. Hey, real rap. Hey, that AJ Dillon won't be doing so bad, will he? After that, you know what I'm saying? But real rap, Ricky. And I want to point something out to you because you brought up the trade with for Jamar Chase. But I will also implore you to think about this. If Mark would have traded away Kyler Murray like he wanted to and to get something good back, he wouldn't be sitting here with this L right now.
No, I wouldn't.
You would be. He'd probably have Matt Ryan as his quarterback right now. He probably would have got the points he wanted from quarterback, and then he would have had his skill positions.
Let's be honest, though. Kyler Murray is going to probably win you a lot more games than he's going to lose you.
How many games has Kyler Murray won you, Mark?
None. The games that I've won is all games where he has underperformed. Every game that
which ones do you consider underperforming? Because he has a
14. He lost a 40-point game.
I lost a 40 point game.
So Kyler Murray didn't lose you that game. The rest of your team lost you that game.
No, he didn't say Kyler Murray lost some games. He said he hasn't won them any.
Yeah, he hasn't won me anything. That's my point.
That's my thing.
But
He's not doing bad. The rest of your team is doing bad. No, so you can't really blame it on him.
But that's my point. My point is my team isn't dependent on him because his 40-point performance doesn't carry me to a W. His 37-point performance doesn't carry me to a W. But when my team actually plays, I get the W's despite him. Like I win despite him.
But I will say, here's my counter. What I'm hearing. Here's my counter argument, though, Mark. What would your point total? What would your total points on the season really look like if you didn't have Kyler Murray?
If I didn't have Kyler Murray, if I traded him and I had here's the thing. If we're going to go back to the draft, if I didn't have Kyler Murray, I would have had Cooper Kupp because that was the toss up in the 4th round was Cooper Kupp or Kyler Murray, and I went Kyler Murray.
Yeah, sound like you fucked up.
It does. I look at the draft. I look at the draft and I'm like, damn, I really fucked that up.
Like, let's be real. You picked Higbee, you picked Shawn. Some of these you got a whole responsibility to. Like this is your team and you're managing it. So you can't just be like Kyler Murray, how dare you? And Kyler Murray's looking like, nigga, you got me working with Tyler Higbee and you got me working with LaVista Shenault. Like, come on.
No, actually, I got you working with Knox and other people. They hurt. So now you being my star fucking player that I drafted in the 4th round, I expect you to fucking be the star fucking player.
Carry you through the rough patches.
Exactly. That's what you're supposed to do as the star fucking player.
I can tell you one thing.
Good luck.
My star players carried me through my rough patch. But you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. That's not my game to talk about.
We're going to get into it.
It's not my game to talk about.
Yeah. So, but
let's get it. Let's go ahead, Ricky.
All right, go ahead. Ricky, you're up next. Who you got? Oh,
all right. Going into our final and heartbroken battle of the night for myself was this guy Lancelot at 117.96, narrowly beating this weirdo. I love Cam Newton at 110.88. As you can see, a touchdown really was the difference. And this motherfucker, Charles, could not get one. The first thing I want to point out is Charles was in a pretty shitty predicament. His backup quarterback he couldn't get to because he was on a bye, which was Derek Carr. And his main quarterback, who wasn't on the bye, just happened to catch the injury bug. And he was up in the air for trying to figure out if he was going to play on Sunday Night Football or not. The news came in super, super late when his only choices left were Daniel Jones. And as you can see, Daniel Jones didn't have what it took to get this done. My second point I want to point out is why the hell does he have Jacoby Myers on his team? Jacoby Myers has not got a touchdown since he's been in the NFL. It's been 2 years. He gets a measly 9 points every week. That would make me comfortable. I would play the waiver wire every week with someone else versus just getting that 9, especially when he's not even in my flex position. Charles, you might want to drop him and fix that. I hate to tell you this, but I think any one of the Jets wide receivers gets more volume than that and more points than that just by catching the ball with receptions. You might want to look into that. That's just me. The third and final point I want to point out for Charles on his end is no one was expecting Dalvin Cook to come into this game and only get 78 yards. You would figure he would get over 50 yards and at least a touchdown, and that didn't happen. So both one of his wide receivers and his running back shit the bed on this one and let him down. Cook, I'm not even mad at. Tight ends suck. You get what you get from them. Even if you have one of the best ones, that's not very much. We discussed that earlier. Hopping over to Shawn's side, Josh Allen saved Shawn again. Shawn's team really isn't constructed of very, very consistent players. It's a lot of boom and bust. The only one that's consistent enough and he keeps getting a win is Josh Allen. And here he goes showing up with another 33-point performance. So kudos to you for getting one of the most consistent quarterbacks in the league. You could have Kyler Murray.
Jumped right out the window and took him early. Glass cannon. That's fine. I'll be a glass cannon today.
See, again, better to be lucky than good. So
hey, the football gods have saved me again. Yeah. I know, Ricky, you've made a few jokes about that. But yeah, unlike Coach, I will admit when I'm getting lucky. And I've had a few fortunate victories this year.
This is what it looks like when you draft somebody early and they do what they're supposed to do. 45, 23, 42, 33, 33. Like show up to win games when they supposed to.
Shout out to Tyreek Hill, though.
Tyreek Hill with 12 receptions was a big deal. Let's looking at the bench to see if anything would have changed their fate. No, nothing. Well, yeah, nothing would have changed their fate on the bench. So it is what it is.
Man, you guys got to fix your benches. Why the hell do you have Odell Beckham? He ain't done shit with the Browns ever. Like, why?
But that's what we've been talking about all year. Is that like I said this like 3 or 4 weeks ago that it was time to drop Odell. Like, but I mean, it is what I guess maybe he was holding out hope that he would get traded. But at this point, it's now that the trade deadline is over, it's time to let him go. But I mean, but if you have the space for him, then just let him ride on the bench. Maybe something magical will change. Maybe.
I put it this way, but if I'm not mistaken, Tim Patrick has probably gotten more points on the year than Odell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As my point earlier, when your bread and butter is to catch and both of your shoulders aren't working, why the fuck do I have you on my
Hey, listen, Ricky, there was a video put out by Dame that shows that it may not necessarily have everything to do with Odell's shoulders. Like that boy be wide open a lot. And it was like it was like a 24-minute video, and like it was just wide open passes that were just underthrown or overthrown.
I'm glad you said that because you have a wide receiver who has two messed up shoulders and can't catch, getting thrown to by a quarterback with the messed up shoulder who already can't throw accurate. So you got two jackasses trying to do jobs with the incorrect tools. Then on top of that, Odell came out and made a video saying, I had that same injury. I've been playing with it and it hurts like a motherfucker. What's his name? Baker Mayfield is a tough man to try to play through this, but it's football. You got to do what you got to do. So when your wide receiver is saying that shit hurts, I don't expect him to do it because I can barely do it. None of those tapes matter about where he can throw to. You guys both have messed up shoulders. One can't catch, one can't throw. What do you expect?
That shit sounds like a recipe for disaster, bro.
Like what was Odell's performance with Case Keenum? Let's look at that. Case Keenum's arms work. What did he get to Odell?
Hey, I already knew Case Keenum and to be honest with you, Case Keenum didn't have a bad game.
And not to be funny, Case Keenum had what's his name? Stephon Diggs looking great for a whole season. So there's no excuses.
Look, Case Keenum, I'll say it here first. I would start Case Keenum over Baker Mayfield, Mark.
Yeah. I mean, I would.
I'm just saying, if I was the Browns, or I trust Case Keenum as a quarterback more than I trust Baker Mayfield.
Shit, I trust Geno Smith more as a quarterback. Whew. Oh wait, he is my quarterback.
Yeah, but for sure, that's a recipe for disaster there, you know.
But in this fantasy thing, I just want to point out to you guys it being week 9 and we're officially in the month of November, is that the trade deadline for this league is November 20th. So for those that are in this league, the trade deadline is November 20th. And I do believe playoffs start on December 3rd. So you're getting down to the wire of when you are able to make these trades. So you guys should get out there and figure out what you want to do if you want to make a move, because you are running out of time to do so. Now that I've said that, we are going to go ahead and look in the record books for the midpoint of the season and see how things are going. See how things are shaking out. So, all right. So, right now, most wins obviously is the Barticus Prime. This is being the first season, most wins all time will also be Labarticus Prime. Longest win streak goes to Raw Dog Supreme and Labarticus Prime, who both have a 4-game win streak on the season. And most losses, we not from 750. Same thing with most losses all time, it being the inaugural season for this league. Longest streak is 3, and it's held by 4 teams. I Choose Violence, Indie Animals, Corey's Championship Team, and We Not from 750. Currently on this streak is I Choose Violence and Corey's Championship Team. Margin of victory, I Love Cam Newton absolutely destroyed Corey's Championship Team in week 6 with a margin of 91.62. The average margin of victory goes to I Choose Violence, which is 49.79. He still holds that. Smallest margin of victory goes to Reese's Buttercup Team over Big Trust, which was 0.50. And the single week all time is also Reese's Buttercup Team Big Trust. It says here her versus We Not from 750, but stat correction. But that was due to a stat correction, which changed that, so that no longer exists. It's just still showing here on the screen. The smallest average margin of victory goes to Indie Animals, which is 16.05. And the smallest margin of the biggest margin of defeat goes to 91.62 for Corey's Championship Team. And the average goes to Reese's Buttercup Team to 47.02. So when she loses, she gets her ass whooped. Smallest margin of victory goes to, smallest margin of defeat goes to Big Trust, but he lost to Reese's Buttercup Team. And the average goes to Lancelot. So when Lancelot loses, he loses by very little. The hardest schedule so far is, of course, We Not from 750. His average is 143.12. And the easiest strength of schedule now is Big Trust. Last time we checked this, they said the easiest schedule went to Labarticus Prime. So it seems like Labarticus Prime, his season has toughened up a bit since the last time we checked these record books. That's it for that. And let's go into the league pick'em and see how we did this week. All right. So this week, Rickey was 4-2. I was 2-4. Shawn did not participate. Reese's Buttercup Team was 4-2. And no one else seems to have participated. So the only ones that I got right was Lancelot and Indie Animals. I actually picked Your Player Got Hurt, and he let me down.
I actually didn't pick myself.
He said, I ain't pick myself. That's why you 4-2. That's why you picked against himself, dog. He said, yep, I know what's happening here. Look, all I'm going to say is that auto draft team is scary, bro.
Yeah, it is.
That motherfucker be projected to put up 150, and then he actually score is 150.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough out here for that, man. Now, I guess it's time to get into the last part here, or the last two parts here, which is we're going to get into
standings.
No, the week, the pregame for the week, and then we'll get into the standings and
power rankings.
Absolutely. All right. So this week coming up, I Choose Violence has Corey's championship team. Your player got hurt has We Not from 750. Lancelot has Indie Animals. Raw Dog Supreme has Big Trust. Barticus Prime has Reese Buttercup team. So it's a battle of the luck here. And
Mike gotta lose.
And I Love Cam Newton versus FTW. So which team do you guys want to start with here?
You want to do
the from the bottom?
Okay, we start from the bottom. All right. I Love Cam Newton versus FTW. I Love Cam Newton is in desperate need of a turnaround victory here. So far, he is projected to do very well in this matchup. He is favored by 57%, according to Yahoo. Odell Beckham seems to have made it back into his lineup this week.
Oh my God.
Come on. All right.
And so let's look at the bench. And on the other side, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Same lineup as never mind. Devontae Booker is starting against the Las Vegas Raiders here. Oh, so that's why, because they're still showing his old projections.
It's been like that every week.
As if he's not a starter now. So that's why it's showing him to be Cam Newton to be so favored here.
It just looks like BK is going to go off again.
Yeah. Amari versus Atlanta should be nice. For some reason, wide receivers have been getting off on the Rams this year, even though the Rams defense has been doing well. But like the star wide receiver, it just hasn't been affecting the star wide receiver that much. Brandon Cooks going up against Miami in a week that Tyrod Taylor is supposed to be back. That should be interesting. Michael Pittman against the Jets. And we see the Jets have tended to be trap games for wide receivers. So, who you guys picking here?
I'm going to be honest. I think I'm going to probably go with FTW because Odell Beckham's in that other lineup. Until he gets that fixed, I don't see him winning shit. I don't really care what he gets. But in reality, I'm a little bit worried about FTW's situation with A.J. Brown. They don't have Derrick Henry anymore. You're asking Ryan Tannehill to do a lot, especially when they don't have what's that dude's name? The other wide receiver with the hamstring. Why am I drawing a blank? Julio Jones. So that makes me a little bit skeptical. The rest of it's kind of a toss-up. Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes haven't been who we thought they were, and I think Green Bay is going to, do a lot better than people are expecting. The Pittman thing, that could be a trap, like you pointed out. Having Justin Tucker is always great. You can get 10 points from some 50-yard kicks. And the Stafford thing, he should be able to put up points, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to carry him because every time Stafford gets a point, it's going right to Cooper Kupp across the street. So they kind of cancel each other out. But you still got Jacoby Myers and Odell Beckham on the other side, and I don't think they're going to do enough to get Charles this win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with FTW for a few reasons because I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. You look at FTW quarterback situation. You got Matt Stafford versus Tennessee secondary. In a situation where Tennessee is probably not going to be able to control the clock by running the ball. They're not going to be able to control the time of possession. I think they're going to have issues with that, and I could just see that getting. I could see the Rams putting up 40 points easily in this game. Then on the opposite side, Cam Newton has Cooper Kupp. enough said. I just told you how I think that game's going to go. And then, but go back to FTW, you got Brandon Cooks. Like you said, if Tyrod Taylor is back and they're playing Miami, this shit could very well be a 25-point performance from Brandon Cooks or better. And then, but now if you go back to the other side, you do have Darren Waller. If he's back to play against the Giants, it could be a situation to where he could do something. You got, but where it falls apart is right there, because you got Dalvin Cook versus Baltimore. You got Zach Moss versus Jacksonville. And in the two things, man, Jacoby Myers and Odell Beckham is going to kill him. Jacoby Myers and Odell Beckham is going to kill him. And meanwhile, the weakest link over here for FTW out of these matchups is going to be A.J. Brown versus the Rams. And if you look at those two situations, I just don't see – I think the floor for Cam Newton for those two players over there for Myers and Odell Beckham is really what's going to kill them.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going with F2W as well. So, looks like it's a unanimous thing here. And usually, if it's unanimous, it's probably going to go the other way. So, be looking forward to a W, I guess.
Well, for us to cover our asses, to be on the safe side, we don't know what they're going to get from waivers. So waivers can change a lot of this tomorrow. So, Charles may fix his team through the waivers. There's a lot of possibilities.
Jacoby Myers and Odell Beckham in the lineup is going to kill him.
Yeah. Labarcus Prime.
Those things? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, next we're going Labarcus Prime, Reese's Buttercup team. Like I said, this is the battle of luck. And so far, Labarcus Prime is set to blow Reese the fuck out. 137.75 to 111.75. He is favored by 70%. This is by far the highest favorite that we have seen this season. So let's look at it here. Herbert against Philly, Samuels against Arizona, CeeDee Lamb against Denver, who just lost Von Miller. That's a big deal. Austin Eckler against Philly. So these are big numbers, possibly. Mike Gesicki against Houston. That should be a big deal. I do not believe Mike White can do it again. I think he just caught somebody with their pants down. So I think the Colts their defense will have a pretty decent day. Pat Mahomes against Green Bay. At this point, is it like Pat Mahomes? He's on a bit of a skid. It's not looking good. I don't know, but Green Bay defense is middling, so we'll see how that works out. Starting Cole Beasley this week. Let's see if there's a reason why she's doing that. Yes, Terry McLaurin is on bye, and DK Metcalf is on bye. Jesus. So she's starting Cole Beasley against Jacksonville, so that's a good start still. Thielen against Baltimore is not necessarily a good start, though. Harris been getting his work. All right, so what you guys got?
I'm going to jump out there first. Everything says that there's 0% chance that Reese's Buttercups is going to win this game. Even when you look down to every single matchup, man, there should be no reason why this should even be a game. And because, I hate to bet against Reese because she just has that luck. It goes back to our just being her sister for years. Her being my sister for years. I really hate to go against her and then be wrong. But because of that, I am going to pick Labarcus Prime to win, because every time I bet against her, she wins. So this is hopes to somebody knocking Labarcus Prime down off of his stoop. So I'm picking Labarcus Prime to win this game. I'm trying to jinx him.
Trying to put an albatross on him?
Absolutely. I'm not even going to hide it, yo.
Ricky?
I think Reese is going to win this one. I think Pat Mahomes and them are going to finally get it together. Didn't they make a trade for Melvin Ingram for the defense? So that might, that might help them put some pressure on the quarterback because God knows they haven't been able to do that. Cole Beasley versus the Jags. I mean, that's a pretty safe pick. I think he could at least get her 10. The Adam Thielen one is the one I want to watch. I have a feeling he's going to have a big game. For some reason, when Kirk Cousins isn't supposed to show up against the match, that's when he shows the hell up and he gets things done for whatever reason. Now, when he has a match that he should win, he plays like complete shit and he loses. I don't know why it is, but that's just how he plays. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Ravens try to focus everything on trying to get the blitz on Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins just starts dishing it out to Thielen and Jefferson really, really quickly, and things just get out of hand. I wouldn't be shocked by that. Damian Harris, he should kill Carolina. If he doesn't, I'll actually be shocked by that. Melvin Gordon, for whatever reason for her, works. Every time he's not supposed to do well, he gets like a touchdown and 150 yards. I don't know why. That just happens. The Zach Ertz thing against San Francisco, that's where things get a little bit weird with me. I'm not really sure what to think about that game. The last time they played, it was a really weird game to me, so I'm not really sure what to think. Now, the Conklin thing, I didn't even notice that. I might have to change everything. You can't trust 2 Vikings on your team. Holy shit. She might want to fix that. Butker, I can see him putting up 10 for them, especially against Green Bay. I can see this becoming a field goal game, but I'm superstitious about the whole Green Bay versus Pat Mahomes thing, so that might come to bite her in the ass, but I also don't trust Indianapolis against the Jets. Like, I don't think Carson Wentz is that much better than the white kid as far as throwing interceptions per game. I know he just finally start throwing them again, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on a world tour of, hey, let me throw it to you guys' defense 6 or 7 times. So we'll see how that goes. I just have no faith in Coach because he's winning too much, so it's just straight hate. So, yeah. It's just straight hate. I'm just going to be honest. It's straight hate. You need to stop winning. Fuck you and Deebo Samuel. And I don't know how the hell CeeDee Lamb keeps pulling it off when he's not the clear wide receiver 1 on that team. It makes no sense to me. So hopefully you lose.
Well, like I said, Justin Herbert and CeeDee Lamb Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler going up against Philly is such a big deal to me. And then CeeDee Lamb going up against Denver, like I said, and Denver won't be able to create that same pressure against the quarterback with Von Miller now on a different team. If Dak Prescott plays, that's going to be a massive deal. I just have to go with Labarticus Prime here. So, now next we have it's still showing week 8. All right, next we have Raw Dog Supreme versus Big Trust. All right, Big Trust is going the old-fashioned Labarticus Prime route of not showing his cards and having the slot empty early.
We know who your quarterback is, dog. Stop playing with us. We know what wide receivers you're going to start. Stop playing with us.
I think they're on bye, aren't they?
Yeah, all 3 of them.
Oh, shit.
So he didn't set up the line. Oh, shit. What is he going to do at quarterback? Jameis Winston is done. Tom Brady is bye. This dude got an NSYNC concert going on over here. And he's about to play Raw Dog Supreme, who has been on a tear as of late.
Man, Mark, this comes down to what I said before. For some of these people that was trying to survive the bye weeks, there's going to be a couple of guys to where you might want to just eat the L in that 1 week and just carry on rather than try to hit the waiver wire too hard. To be honest with you, man, this just might be one of those weeks. He's going to have to start McCole Hardman in what's his name, in Smith. He's gonna have to start those 2 guys. Do you drop them both? Maybe you should. Maybe you do drop them both and find something on the waiver wire. And do you drop Tunyon to get a quarterback? I don't know what you do, Mark, but I would just take the L. I would just take the L and just eat my fucking bye week.
This is raw. Listen, Rickey, you guys.
Yeah, Tobias, the first and foremost, drop Winston. you can get Hill, or you can get the other dude who just played for Winston. There's that. I mean, at least give it a fighting chance.
Didn't they trade for somebody? New Orleans traded for a quarterback. They traded for Marcus Mariota, right? Or was that fake news?
What the hell? I didn't hear about that at all.
I don't know about that. Let me fact check that shit while y'all talking.
Yeah.
I'll say this though. There's options. You got Mac Jones going against Carolina. Jimmy G might. Yeah. So there's Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, you got some options. Maybe Tyrod does come play the white kid against him. I mean, there's somebody you can get. You never know. I mean, Michael Carter just went off for like 30 points last week. Maybe you'll have that luck. Yeah, Such gonna fuck you up, bro.
He did not get picked up by the Saints. No.
Yeah. So I was watching fake news.
Okay.
Fake. You know how Facebook is.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Smith from Philly gonna have to play this week. You don't got a choice.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, look, man. I mean, I honestly would drop those three guys that you would be starting. Obviously, not James Winston; he's hurt. But yeah, you could definitely drop those three guys and go get somebody off the waiver wire that'll probably do just as good.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, while you at it, why don't you just go ahead and drop Mike Evans and go find
Hey, I'm hoping for a Sharice situation right now, dog. I'm hoping for something.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you go ahead and drop Mike Evans so you find somebody to start in their stead, all right?
Yeah. I'm just gonna pick Raw Dog Supreme.
Yeah, you gotta pick Raw Dog. Until you see what he picks up off that waiver wire, you gotta pick Raw.
Well, I don't know if there's anything on the waiver wire that he can get that can fill in those gaps.
Not in week 9. Scraping the bottom.
There's always a puncher's chance, isn't there? There's always a puncher's chance.
Well, hold on now. Hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Hold on. Let me take a look at something. You got Crosby versus KC, T. Higgins versus Cleveland, whose secondary has been beatable.
Are you talking about a kicker, my guy?
No.
Hey, kickers will get you some wins.
Hey, kickers will get. Actually, never mind. It's Mason Crosby. He'd been missing kicks left and right. But you telling me Aaron Jones can't put up 30 points versus KC?
He could,
especially if what's his name is still going to be, if Adams is still going to be out with COVID. Man, I don't know if he gets a couple of monster games from his star players to carry him through the rough patch. Is a possibility, Mark. That's all I'm going to say. Rob Dog Supreme is relying on Tua and Waddle. Anything can happen.
They're going against Houston. They're going against Houston, so that's where it gets a little tricky.
But if Tyrod starts, that changes things. If Tyrod starts, that means Houston will be on the field a little bit longer.
But Houston just gave up a defensive end, too. I forget which one it is, but they traded a defensive end. They don't have Mark Ingram anymore. Mark Ingram is a great pass blocker, so you don't have that anymore.
Hey, man, this just smell like it's a goddamn trap game for fucking Miami. Is there such thing as a trap game for Miami? I don't know. But
and what if Raw Dog switches over to Wentz? Doesn't he still have Wentz?
Who? Yes, he does.
Oh, okay.
So he might, and I think Russell. Oh no, Russell Wilson comes back next week. I don't know, man. This is a weird match.
I'm still picking him. I'm just saying the game could be closer than we think, even with waiver wire pickups.
All right, this is the battle of the force. Lancelot versus Indianimals. Let's look at it. Josh Allen, who is good for 30 and is going to get that 30, goes up against Jacksonville. Tyreek goes up against Green Bay. But seeing how he just had a phenomenal performance, you guessed it. Guess what's on deck?
You saying he's in line for 12 points, Mark?
Exactly. He just came off of phenomenal, but Mike Williams and Philly, that should be a good day.
Mike Williams has been doo-doo. Check his stats.
No, he has been, and this should be the game that gives him
the bounce back. I like Mike Williams. He either gives you 30 or 3. You know what I'm saying? It's really simple, you know?
All right. Lancelot does not have a tight end in this situation. George Kittle's still on IR. You holding out hope?
No, he's coming back. George Kittle, they already announced he's coming back.
Okay. So you'll be starting George Kittle this week. Which will help change this margin here. And on the flip side, Tannehill goes up against the Rams. Keenan Allen goes up against Philly, but Keenan Allen is not getting any love this year.
Got some love this past week.
Okay. this past week, but
yeah,
by and large. So we'll see what happens. Stephon Diggs against Jacksonville. Stephon Diggs is hurting for a big game, like absolutely hurting.
It would happen against me, so that's the way I see it.
Clay, and the guy that start, you know what? He's still running with Chicago's defense. I don't need to see nothing else. I'm picking.
But it's versus Pittsburgh. Are you betting against Chicago defense? You put more faith in Ben Roethlisberger than Chicago defense right now.
Yes, they just got -2 2 weeks in a row, bro. 2 weeks in a fucking row.
All right. You know Ben is good for 3 turnovers.
-2 2 weeks in a row. That's insane.
All right.
Rickey, what?
This is a tough one. It's really Josh Allen versus his entire team because he don't got a quarterback.
And he doesn't have no. And here's the thing: he doesn't have T.J. Hawkinson. Like,
well, that I'm not too bothered by because Mo Alley Cox versus the New York Jets. The Jets aren't good against tight ends, and Wentz loves throwing to his tight ends, so that could be a touchdown.
Mo Alley Cox, I think he has like close to 5 touchdowns on the season?
Something like that.
Well, what does it say?
He has 4.
But he's somebody that he looks at in the red zone for sure.
And they suck against that because he dropped a touchdown this weekend too. He should have had 2 to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. Like he gets looked
this past weekend, he showed up. He gave the old Emmanuel Sanders with 4 targets.
That's what we calling it now.
Yeah, 4 targets with no catches.
That's the exact same stat. Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting one. I think it's all going to depend on what not Nick Chubb, Henderson and Diggs does for him. That's going to be the balance.
Henderson's going to go ape shit, man. I just feel it, man. Henderson's going to go fucking ape shit. He's been lighting it up, man. I don't know if you've been looking at Henderson's games.
Yeah, it's a good matchup. It's against Tennessee. Like, Darius's problem is his quarterback is technically his flex spot, and he can't really put anybody else in there. So it's kind of rough because Tannehill's so hit or miss. But you honestly probably should walk away with the W on this one because of Josh Allen. But that could get countered with Diggs, but I doubt he just hyper-targets Diggs because it ain't happened yet. He's been spreading the ball, so yeah, that's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, man. I don't know who you got because I'm about to give my.
That's what I said. I've given it to you. You'll probably end up taking.
And then for me, I'm looking at this, and to be honest with you, with my luck, I'm looking at this. I mean, although I will be starting Kittle. Kittle hasn't done anything with the games that he did play. He had one good game this entire season, and it wasn't even 20 points. So I don't know how Kittle is going to work. I mean, the good thing about it is seemingly Jimmy G will be quarterbacking, and he will target Kittle more than Trey Lance would. So I do prefer that, but at the same time, I'm really relying on my star players here. It's already been proven. I have not had any weeks where Josh Allen, Tyreek Hill, and Mike Williams have gone off in the same week. So I can only expect 2 of them to go off. And to be real with you, I don't like the matchup of Hubbard versus the Patriots. In the situation of Edmonds versus the Niners did not pan out well either last time. I don't like my matchups. Huh?
You're going with Indie Animals here?
I am going to go with Indie Animals because knowing my luck, Mark, this will be the week that Keenan Allen eats, Mike Williams doesn't, and then Stephon Diggs will have his blow-up game this week. I just feel like I have good luck, and then I have bad luck, Mark. That's the way it's been going this season, and I don't see the trend really stopping here. So it's definitely set up for me to lose to Stephon Diggs.
I see what you're doing here. You're not slick.
What are you talking about, Mark? What is it? What's the problem here?
You're not slick.
What's the problem here, Mark?
You're trying to appeal to the fantasy football guys. Like, I'm going to be humble. I think I'm going to lose.
Look, what do you mean appeal to the fantasy football gods? Look, whatever the fantasy football gods decide to do, with my team, that's up to them. I'm at their mercy. I don't think there's anything that I can do for their favor. So I'm just calling it how I see it here, Mark.
You're trying to
put it on phone now.
Hey, look. Basically, look, man.
All right, so now we got your player got hurt versus we not from 750. We not from 750. I don't know what he going to do. He can't start Leonard Fournette. Like, I don't know
anybody from Tampa Bay that he has on his team. The kicker, Gronk, Fournette.
Yeah, like I don't. All right, so look, like honestly, looking at it though, you're gonna get your wish, Mark. Sorry, I just have to interrupt. You're gonna get your wish. You're gonna see him put forward a lineup that doesn't consist of Leonard Fournette. He is forced to bench him. You know what would be crazy is if he intentionally played him on a bye just to spite you, Mark. Listen, I let that go after week 4. After week 5 when he did it twice in a row, I was like, all right, I can't keep rocking that. Like, because he did it twice in a row. He had 16, 21, and then he followed it up with 30 and 17. I let it go. I was like, all right, I like kudos to you for holding out hope through 3 weeks. Like, so I let it go.
All right. Well, what is he gonna do?
I don't know what he's going to do. Let's look at his bench.
Damn. Well, how you gonna have? Well, he has Gronk and OJ Howard, so that's it. Yep. He has Noah Fant over 19.
Is Noah Fant coming? Let's see what it says here. Is he coming back?
He's out.
He's out for COVID, but he has to return to. So there's a chance that Noah Fant plays. We'll have to see what happens there. Good thing for him, they don't play till Sunday. So he has quite a bit of time to return 2 negative tests so he can make the field. AJ Green.
Tony Pollard scares me.
I would start, legitimately, if I was him, I would start Zeke and Tony Pollard. There's a good chance that they both give you numbers at the same time. They've done it multiple times this season, I believe. Yeah. So. And
to be honest with you, the Denver defense didn't scare me before Von Miller left. It don't scare me now. So I mean, I don't know. And considering it's a game to where we still don't know if Dak is going to play, could be heavy usage for both of them.
But Joe Burrow goes up against Cleveland. They need a bounce back game. Joe Burrow embarrassed himself a little bit last week. So I think he's going to show up and show out this week.
I don't know about that. I think he's going to be on the back of Myles Garrett's little cape with all the quarterbacks he's been killing. That line.
The line
didn't look.
That is true. That line is great, and Cincinnati's line is middle. But I think that he's going to
overcome.
I think he's going to overcome it, and he has something to prove this week. Najee Harris going up against Chicago. I think that's food. I think that's great. I think Najee Harris is going to do his damn thing. Is Khalil Herb? Oh no, yeah, you're. Mark Ingram over Khalil Herbert, even though it's going up against Pittsburgh. I don't know if I was.
Once again, we will mention that if Tyrod Taylor is back, you're going to see goal line touches from Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram's with the Saints.
Yeah, he's with the Saints now.
Oh, he's with the Saints now? When did that happen?
Last week. Last week.
Crazy. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then I really don't know how I feel about that, but I guess you ain't got no choice but to run the ball if you're the Saints.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 100% honest. This ain't going to be my lineup. When the waivers come tomorrow, this team's going to look way different. So I got no comment.
But I will say this: I do expect Herbert to be in the lineup. That's about what I do expect Amari Cooper to be in the lineup. I mean, I don't expect Bateman to be starting. But I'll be honest with you, looking at this and knowing what type of moves you make on the waiver wire and seeing what you already have on your bench available to you compared to what Rodney, his loyalty, his blind loyalty to his players. I'm just gonna assume that he ain't gonna do on the waiver wire what you're gonna do on the waiver wire. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just say flat out that Rodney does not have a chance. I'm going with Rickey. I'm picking Rickey on this one, man.
Rodney, if you watch this, hit me up Thursday morning. If you don't really care about Joe Mixon, you can catch a couple of wide receivers right now. I'm just saying. You can get a Amari Cooper, you can get a Bateman. I'm just saying, I fuck with Joe Mixon. So holla at your boy.
Joe Mixon is money.
Yeah. So pick to win. Your player got hurt. I'm done betting on We Not from 750. They've let me down several times. Despite my better judgment, I've bet on them, and no. Anyway, so moving on. We're now on the last team. I choose violence versus Corey's championship team. So, all right.
That's about Gaskin.
Why? That's just so funny to you, man. Yo, come on, Rickey. Come on, Rickey.
So, Kyler Murray is questionable, but they're not talking about the fact they're not talking about it much. So I guess it's safe to assume that he is going to play. We'll see what happens with James Robinson. The big thing for my team here is what's going to happen with Knox here. We'll see if he actually plays this week. If he plays, I'm starting him. And honestly, we'll see if Devontae Adams comes off of COVID. If he comes off the list, then he's going to start. And if he doesn't, then I guess Lazard is going to start. But I can tell you one thing, that Randall Cobb will not be in this lineup come Sunday morning. So,
I don't know, because if Devontae Adams doesn't come off of IR, I don't think Lazard's going to come off. So you'll probably be stuck around the clock.
Lazard is already off.
Oh.
See?
That's weird.
The whole COVID situation between those two guys is weird, dog. We're not going to get into that again. He goes on COVID days after and then comes off right away, right after the game's over and shit.
Yeah.
He cleared that man after the game was finished. They was walking back to the locker room and shit. It's like, yo, you good to go.
Yeah. So I can tell you that Randall Cobb will not be in the lineup. I just don't know who will be just yet.
This is a terrible time to have bye weeks for Corey because everybody else is on IR, and now you got two players added to that list of people you can't play because they're on bye. You got Kirk Cousins back. You got Kirk Cousins there, which obviously he doesn't need to play now because he got Lamar. But who was the other guy down there? Who does he have?
J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson.
No. I'm looking at Julio Jones. You don't even know if Julio Jones is going to play. So really, the lineup.
But here's the thing. I am tired about hearing about Julio Jones. He is not worth playing, period. Like, he's not worth being on a roster. Like, he is 90% rostered across Yahoo. Like, it is just off of his name. Simply off of his.
But with that said, Mark, what I'm trying to say is his lineup is his lineup. Your lineup could get better depending on the injury situation, COVID, all that stuff. I'm just gonna save us some time. I'm picking you to win this, Smart. Me as a Niners fan, I'm hoping that Kyler Murray puts up the same type of performance as he did the first time versus us. But, I don't think lightning is going to strike twice, to be honest.
Rickey?
I'm going to go with Corey in this one because he has Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown. And those motherfuckers, I went against that personally. I should have won that game. This motherfucker, that motherfucker put up like 3,062 points. Like, yeah, that's a dangerous combination like right there. Like,
it is.
And he got Young Hoku. Oh,
I have zero.
Missed his first kick last week, bro.
I have zero faith in the entire rest of the team, though.
Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. The AJ Dillon and Gaskin, that does worry me, but
DJ Moore's not going to do nothing versus the Patriots, right? I'm sure you understand that. How do you feel about Myles Gaskin? How do you feel about Goddard?
Like I said, it's nothing personal. That Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown shit this year has been very. I believe
dangerous. You. I think those two are going to outdo their projections. But I feel like everybody else on this list is going to perform under the projections except for maybe Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, I expect to do okay, but pretty much.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody else I expect to do under their projections except for Lamar Jackson and Hollywood.
Those have been the four people carrying him, though, this whole time. I don't think much really changes. Like, he hasn't had CMC this whole year, so he hasn't done shit. His running backs have been, like, non-existent. The rest of the team's been his defense, his kicker, Hollywood Brown, Justin Jefferson, and Lamar Jackson.
Like that week that he blew up was because Hollywood had 40 fucking points. He had 80 points between two players.
Hey, let's not forget, he got 2 wins off of Jamar Chase, and he does not have Jamar Chase on his team. It helps when you have Jamar Chase on your team go off the same week as Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown.
I don't think Jamar Chase is going to go off this week. That's what I was saying for my team. If depending on what Rodney does, I don't know.
But I'm just making mention that Corey has 3 wins. 2 of them came off of weeks where Jamar Chase went off for him.
Looking at this objectively, Minnesota doesn't have a defense, so that's going to be a shootout. That Atlanta-New Orleans game, that's going to be an interesting game because they always have very weird games. They're always weird.
Well, if it means anything, it's in the Dome. It's in New Orleans.
Yeah, that don't mean a damn thing to me because we don't even know who's the
no, what I'm saying is that means there's a possibility of points getting scored.
But here's the thing. But it being in New Orleans in the Dome, that means Young Hoku could possibly get 20 fucking points.
I'm laughing, but
like you got over here for I Choose Violence. Hunter Renfrow is probably him and Edwards are gonna probably eat because during this taping, I don't know if you guys saw it, they released Henry Ruggs, so he's gone now. So they only got 3 targets now, so that's gonna be
Henry Ruggs is still in the damn hospital anyway. So, yeah.
Well, fair enough, but he's never coming back.
I know.
And by the way, rest in peace to the young lady that lost her life due to Henry Ruggs' stupidity.
23 years old, man. 23. But
Kyler Murray being hurt. What is the injury? He was hobbling off the field, so it's like his leg. He can't run.
Was it an ankle? Was it?
I think they say he tweaked his ankle.
So he got a tweaked ankle and a fucked up throwing arm.
But last year he kept running on a tweaked ankle, but this year, this is the thing. Kyler Murray before the season, like he said with the additions at running back, I am not trying to run the ball. If the running backs are available, I'm going to give them the ball. And in the beginning of the season, you usually take whatever somebody says like as a grain of salt. But as we see now that the season is actually playing out, Kyler Murray meant that shit. Like he gets to goal line, he's handing that ball off. He's not running in shit. So like he hasn't really done it all season. So yeah, like that's a knock for Kyler Murray.
I don't know. When you break this down, you guys really have a lot of questionable things. Kyler Murray versus Lamar Jackson, we could just call that even. Jamar Chase versus Justin Jefferson, that can go either way. That's a whole nother little pendulum swing. Patterson versus any of the running backs, he's killing them. But then you can meet him with Marquise Brown. Then after that, the rest of your team is iffy. We don't know what they're going to get. Then you have you got the Buffalo defense going against, I'm guessing, for your other running back, if it's not Robinson, you're going to play Carlos Hyde. Mm-hmm. I think Buffalo can contain them. So it's like you guys have like 4 really good quality players on each side. Then the rest, It's a pick 'em. It really is. But I think he has health on his side with his 4. Just looking at this, you don't know what's going to go with James Robinson. Kyler Murray is a little bit injured. I think he's going to be okay, but
yeah,
who fucking knows if we're being honest.
At the very least, he'll have Lazard.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah.
That's what the fuck you have to tell me? He's going to have Lazard.
If he's the number 1 wide receiver, yeah. Versus Kansas City, yeah. That means something.
I don't know. I don't know anymore because now Randall Cobb's going to get even more targets because they don't even have Tunyon anymore.
Randall Cobb.
They only have 2 people to throw the ball to.
Like
and Randall Cobb is more of a favorite in the end zone.
Randall
That's like
Cobb.
a fact.
I'm not arguing the end zone. I'm saying the rest of the catches for the rest of the game is going to be going to Lazard.
This is Randall Cobb all season. He had 1 week, which was week 4. And outside of that, he's not doing much of
what
shit.
He's saying is don't discount the fact that he has that relationship with Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers looks for him in the red zone.
I wouldn't discount it. I'm just saying don't discount that Randall Cobb's best days are far behind him.
It's not about his best days.
But then again, they're going up against KC, so
I'm trying to say there's enough to go around, man.
Yeah.
Robert Tunyon's not there anymore. You don't know if Devontae Adams coming back. Cool, Lazard's back. Then we're not even talking about MVS. He likes MVS more than Lazard. So MVS decides to suit up. That changes everything. So it's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those things where it's like. I thought he was getting better. I swore I heard from last week they wanted to just.
He almost was.
More week
they wanted to play him last week. They made it. It was like a last minute decision not to play him last week.
Yeah, because
I don't know if he comes back. It's like I said, both of you guys got 4 really good stars, and then the rest of the team is like, I don't know, but he has health on his side. Just looking at this, James Robinson's questionable. Kyler Murray's questionable. You got Buffalo going against one of your better running backs. Like, I think he has just health on his side, so I got to go with Corey in this one, and it's not by much. It's literally like a flip of a coin. I'm literally saying health. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm still rocking with this. I don't like either situation, but I really like Mark's better. And you say by a coin flip, I would have to say I got Mark winning by 10 points.
Now it comes down to me what I'm going to pick here. You know what? I need this win, but we'll see how it all plays out. I do think it's a very big deal that there's no real targets with Hunter Renfrow, and the fact that they're going up against the Giants. But Lamar Jackson needs this as well. Being honest, I do think it's more of a coin flip than anything, but gotta have confidence in yourself. So gotta run with self sometimes, man. Gotta trust yourself. Well, anyway, that is the end of the coverage for this week's matchups coming up here. And now let's just go ahead and look at the current standings in this league. Currently, no one has yet to clinch the playoffs. So far, Labarcus Prime is number 1 in standings due to his record. FTW number 2, and you guys could just see it on the screen. There's no need for me to keep just running all the way down. But the big thing here is that the waiver priorities here is FTW at 1, Labarcus Prime at 2, Lancelot at 3. Your player got hurt, moved up in the waiver wire priority to all the way to 4. So that's a big deal. And I love Cam Newton, who has who has some moves to make, is at 8. And down at the bottom, Big Trust, who has some moves to make, is all the way at 12. So Big Trust is
take the L. Just take it, man. Just take the L, dog.
We will see. We will see. But yeah, being all the way down at 12 is a big deal. The most moves have been made so far this season has been your player got hurt, and not too far behind is I choose violence. So now we'll get into the power rankings presented by Shawn Williams. So Rickey is laughing over there in the corner because he's ready to shit all over this. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it.
All right. So here's your Week 8 power rankings, guys, right here on the screen for you. Shawn, do your thing.
All right, let's talk about it. Right now, this seems to be one of the weeks with a little less movement, and wasn't as crazy as last week where we had 3 or 4 people moving up or down 4 places, and even had one player jumping up 8. So right now we have a number 1, FTW, still sitting at the top. He's definitely outscoring everybody, and he happens to be in second place. That right there is enough to put him in a good position, especially since his strength of schedule. Let me see where he's at. Strength of schedule is somewhere closer to the middle. So he's just outdoing everybody. The auto draft team is just killing it. Labarticus Prime moved up 1 spot. Finally, as Mark said, his schedule is starting to toughen up just a little bit, just enough to move him up in the power rankings. Big Trust keeps throwing up 150, 160 point games. That has brought him up to spot 3 from last week. Raw Dog Supreme drops 2 spots here in a victory. But once again, if you look at that point total, that's part of the reason why he's not as high as he could be. He did have a slow start to the season, but he has been picking it up since some moves. So I expect him to kind of still be around here. Darius, Indianimals, excuse me, I don't want to disrespect his team name. The Indianimals, up 1 spot from 6th spot to 5.
And excuse me, you don't want to disrespect my team name. I gave him that name. Remember that.
That's it. That's the way you want to put it, man. I just, I just want to put respect on the Indianimals names. That's all I'm trying to do, And, he's moved up 1. Lancelot, I have moved up 1 spot there. Rickey, you see that I'm not at 4. I told you there would be minimal movement because I didn't score that many points and I had a small margin of victory. You see that? You see how that works? I moved up 1 spot. That's it.
I just want to say, what would it really have looked like if I never said that? That's just me. But we'll leave that alone.
Hey, look, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. Since week 1, I have floated between spot 4 and spot 7 the entire time. I have not been lower than 7, and I have not been above 4. So I really don't understand where this is coming from. And then you have below me, you got. I choose violence. Like I said, he dropped 2 spots down to spot 7. Reese's Buttercup team has moved up 3 spots, even though she's only averaging 121 points per game. But I guess when you win and you have a tie on your record, it kind of helps out in the power rankings. It's fucking disgusting, as Mark says. What did they say? Deplorable? I don't know.
No, yeah, it's like kissing your sister, dog. Like, I shouldn't exist.
You winning, but you're losing. What you saying, Mark? All right, and then you got Rickey. You dropped the spot. One spot though. 1 spot, Rickey. 1 spot. Look at how that works. The power rankings do not lie, Rickey. Only 1 spot. They still got respect for you. They have not put you below I Love Cam Newton. Ever since his logo got switched to that shit-stained heart mark, ever since that happened, he has been doo-doo, okay? He is down here at 10, and he has not moved yet. 3 and 5. Yeah, Corey's championship. What's up, man? Corey's championship team At 11, he dropped 2 spots. I feel like he's finally falling back down to where he belonged in the first place. And then you have We Not from 750, and we all know how this story goes. Right now, Rickey, honestly, when you look at this, when you look at these power rankings, do you have any issues with these positions? Do you think there's anybody in a position where they should not be right now compared to what you think the better teams are? You think Mark should be higher?
Mark's 3 and 5. His team is shit. He's like right there with Corey. You see, they're 3 and 5. What are we doing here?
Okay, well, I'll take a look. But because of that, I'll take a look at what Mark's got going on and why he is there.
I'm not gonna lie. I should be already over you because I beat you for one. Like that should mean something.
that don't mean nothing over the course of fucking 8 weeks.
It should, because if you get any type of bonuses for beating somebody higher than you in the rankings at any point, that should put your percent total up. That's what I incorporated in mine because that changed the strength of schedule.
Okay, I mean, I would definitely like to see what yours look like. I don't think yours are prepared. Do you have it? Do you want to speak on it? Hold on. Let me get to the Mark thing first, and I'll say this. I have Mark here. Where is he? Yep, I have Mark here with he's 6th in points. He's 5th in points versus projected, meaning he comes closer or he outscores the projected. You know, he's closer to his projected points than most people. Points for versus points against margin, he's clearly outscoring his opponents whenever he wins by a lot. He's got a large margin of victory, so that counts towards something. He's 9th in the standings, and then he's 11th in strength of schedule. So basically, if he had a better record and if he was playing better teams, he would be higher. But because he's not playing anybody and because he's 9th in the standings, that's why he's sitting there at spot 7. But other than that, his team, his actual individual team performance, regardless of win or loss, is showing him to be a top. He's kind of in the top 25%.
I've beaten the number one team in the league. I've beaten someone who's top 5 in the league. I've come against tougher competition. Sure, it's not.
I want you to tell me who you've lost to, Rickey.
Who'd I lose to?
Didn't you? Have you lost to any bad teams yet?
I've lost to Corey. That's it. That's the only bad team.
That's the only bad team?
And that's when he had a super week. Come on.
How bad have you been losing games, Rickey?
Not by much.
Well, you know what? Let me take a look at what I got here for you, Rickey. Here. You're 11th out of 12 in points, total points scored.
What does that mean? I'm still winning.
Oh, no, you're winning, but that just means you haven't played anybody. Therefore, you're winning. Like I said, if you play the Jets,
look, so you're nobody. So you're nobody.
and then
you and coach are nobody. Coach is ranked number 2, right?
But I will say no. How about this? Here's in your defense. Watch this. You have 11. You have 11. You have 11. No. Listen to me. You're 11th in points scored. Your strength of schedule is actually 3rd. That's probably why you're higher than the bottom, because your strength of schedule, you're the 3rd hardest strength of schedule. Now,
so I'm beating better competition to get my wins.
Yeah, but everybody's shitting the bed against you. You're not just beating them; they're shitting the bed. And then
I'm beating them. What do you mean you're not beating them? I won. There's a W in my column. I beat them.
That's fine, but we make up for that for where you're at in the standings and how many losses you got. All right. And then but basically you're at where you're at on my power rankings because you don't score very many points. You score below your projections, and people shit the bed versus you. What do you want me to tell you? Did you do anything to make them shit the bed? You're not playing defense.
Yes, I did play defense by playing the waiver wires to stop you guys from getting good players.
Oh, okay. So that's why everybody shit the bed versus you. Okay, all right.
Team versus you guys team.
That is a direct correlation to your wins.
Yes, I went out there and done that. If you go look at the waivers and when I take
No. I look at them and I see what you've been doing to the waiver wire, Ricky. But I don't know if that has directly caused you to beat somebody. I have to go research.
I've actually stopped some of you guys from winning by taking people. I don't know if you guys noticed. There's a reason why I'm higher up in the waiver. I learned how to cheat that system.
No. First off, I've watched everything that you've done. I watch everybody that hits the waiver wire. I know what everybody's tendencies are to waiver wire. And there's only 3 people that I have to watch. Ricky, number 1, it's Coach, because Coach doesn't hit the waiver wire, but he's the first person up as soon as the waiver's cleared, so he can pick up everybody that's in free agency. You're also there when that happens, because y'all the only 2 people I gotta fight with. All right. And then I know what you do. You pick up players and then you drop them, so then they don't clear waivers till after Sunday. You're trying to explain this shit to me like I'm not watching you, dog. I know what you're doing.
That's actually not what I do. But that's what you think I'm doing.
No, but you don't get it fucked up. You are dropping players in a manner to where you know they won't clear waivers till after the week's over. You're doing that. That's
not why I'm doing it. That's why you think I'm doing it.
No, I didn't say why, but I'm telling you what you're doing. That's what's happening.
That's not. I'll explain it to you after the.
That's fine. You don't have to explain it to me. You don't need to give your secrets here. But I'm just saying, it's not the first. It has happened more than once where I've looked at a player that you have dropped that did not clear waivers until after the week was over. I'm just saying, yeah, that has happened. It's not just random shit. But yes, I am paying attention. I'm watching you. I'm not watching your every move, but I know what you're doing.
I feel like you need to get a hobby, because I should not be here watching hobby.
Dog, well, if I'm watching a waiver wire and there's only transactions being made by Ricky, then yes, motherfucker, it's gonna be.
But I've never made a transaction on the waiver wire. That's why I'm number 4.
No, but you know what I'm saying. Look, when I go to the transactions list, your name is always there. You have 33 transactions, Ricky. You already said it. Look, I'm just saying. And I've seen you literally have a guy on your team for less than a week. So, yes, when you say you're intentionally stopping people from picking up guys, I've seen it. Obviously, you know what you're doing. But Mark, are you curious to see what Ricky has for his power rankings?
I am, but he said it wasn't ready.
It's not ready yet. I can tell you the formats of how it works. 1 win gets you 5 points. A tie gets you 0.5. Now, each person's win percentage, all you're going to do is take that win percentage and you times that by 5, whatever their win percentage is. That gives you points. You add all 3 of those together. On top of that, you take the schedule. You take the amount of teams that we have in the league, which is 12. You divide that by whatever the win total was for that week. You add all those up together and divide it by whatever the week, and that gives you the PowerPoint system of where they at, and it changes.
Did you say wins are 5 points?
Wins are 5 points.
In ties are half point. Okay, so see that's so I understand. See, but I do appreciate what you do with your power rankings. I'll say that it's very calculated. See, I didn't want mine to be based off of just wins and losses, or I didn't want wins and losses to be so heavily weighted. I want to know what the best team is. Sometimes you can go into the league.
They're not weighted on that though. You get the biggest point from what team that you defeated and what their win ratio is. That win ratio will put you in the bonus. That's why I said if you play against Rodney and you defeat Rodney's record's so bad that when you end up doing the math, you get like plus 17 for your points. But compared to someone who's beating someone that's a 4-3, when you get 250 points added, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. So for me, the reason why I don't want mine weighted that way for who you play is because, like I said, there could be a week where somebody shits the bed. There could be a week where you score low, something weird happens, in like for example in the NFL, if the Saints play, if the Jets play the Bucks and Tom Brady's out with COVID, I don't care how good the Bucks record is, that win is going to count less for the Jets, and that's the reason. But there's nothing wrong with the way that you're doing it. I understand, and I think it's actually it'll be closer to what a real life journalist would do for power rankings. But I don't want mine to be like that, and that's why I have mine the way.
Oh, you don't want yours to be real. I'm just glad that you said that.
No. I said I didn't want mine to be like journalists.
Like real life.
I didn't want to be like real life journalists because this is the way I see it. Fantasy football is different in the sense that you can't play defense.
But you pick a defensive team, and you just got through telling me
my defensive team does not subtract points from the other team that I'm playing.
If I can stop your point total by going up because I can block you from getting players, that's playing defense. You've already admitted that that's what I'm doing.
Oh no, what I'm trying to tell you is if somebody is look, you're talking about waiver wire defense, all right?
It's part of the game. That's part of the fantasy.
No, that is part of the game. But where it counts in my book is that team's point total is now going to be lower, and since point total is on my scale, then it still reflects.
On my scale too.
That's what I'm saying. It still reflects.
It's on my scale too. You have to have odd points. That's where it ends up evening it out.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll show you when it's written out.
No, that's fine. Yeah, but I'm saying like mine is different. Look, in my power rankings, it's possible that you can have the best team in the league end up with a 500 record. Sometimes you just don't have a good schedule. Sometimes everybody goes off against you. And that's what I want my power rankings to reflect is that, hey, you had the best team, but you're 4-4. So therefore, that means you just have the worst luck going into this year.
Oh, so this sounds like a personal experience that happened our first year.
No, it's not.
This year.
It's not.
His team's just garbage our first year. Like,
it ain't personal. I didn't have one of the better teams in the first year
because you had higher points.
Say what?
I said that actually lines up because your team was garbage that last year, but you had the highest point total, so that will raise you in the power rankings.
Well, you didn't have the highest.
No, I didn't.
He was in the bottom of everything.
For the longest time, he was
the year when I went 1 or 2 and whatever, or excuse me, I went 1, lost 10 straight, and then won the last 2 games. I was like third from the bottom in points. That's where I was. I wasn't high in points. I still in the power rankings. I would have been in my power rankings the way I have it set up. I'll still be probably last.
We shall see.
Because Rodney's at the bottom where he's supposed to be. You can't in my power rankings. You can't go 1-6-1 and be at the top.
I didn't know my power rankings was going to be too real for life. I didn't know that. I wasn't expecting that.
No, I'm just excited. I'm ready to see the differences between my power rankings and your power rankings because I do feel like there's going to be weeks where it's similar, and I feel like there's going to be weeks where it's drastically different.
We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
It will be here for the people next week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So, that is the end of this particular episode, folks. I don't know why is that on. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, that's the end for this particular episode. Thank you guys for joining. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe. Thank you, Rickey, for joining us. You will be seeing him for the rest of the season. So get used to that, folks. And we also will be having his power rankings coming up here soon. So yeah. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Nothing else to be said but peace. Do 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 do.